I figured there was no better way to learn about the brand new language arts curriculum from Hearth Story than to talk with Miss Lindsey Sodano herself. Guys, welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. If you are new here, my name is Shauna. We are a homeschooling family of 4. I have a 6th grader and a 2nd grader. And today I am sitting down for a lovely chat with the creator of the brand new language arts curriculum, Hearth Story. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. While you are down there, I will have everything that you need to know about from Hearth Story and from Lindsey linked right on down in the description box. So be sure to go take advantage of their sale that is currently going on March 2024. If you are a little later than that finding this, be sure to at least check them out, give them a follow, and see if they would be a good fit for you. Guys, I don't have a whole lot to fill in here in the beginning, so let's jump right in. Hi, Lindsey. Welcome back. Thanks for talking with us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Would you like to tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'm Lindsey Sodano. You might know me, if you know me at all, you might know me as one of the writers of the History Quest books. And I just came out with a language arts curriculum last year. So it's called Hearth Story Homeschool Language Arts. And it's available now.
Now that you kind of transitioned a little bit from history, because you're one of the authors of History Quest, over to language arts, why did you kind of branch into language arts?
So it's actually, for me, a return back to my roots. My original teacher certification is actually in secondary English, and that's what I did as my undergrad. So it's way back in the 90s, so not even this millennium, I was teaching English. And then I worked as a writer for a very long time and then transitioned into history. And now I'm coming back around to language arts.
Okay, so why did you think that was something that you wanted to do now?
So I am kind of lurking on social media a lot, ask a lot of questions, try to answer a few questions if I can. And one thing that I have seen so much recently in the past couple of years or so is a lot of secular homeschool families will try to take this one particular very deeply religious English curriculum that is very beautiful, and they will perform surgery on it and try to make it secular. And they'll take out this and move that and, switch this book for that book and try to do something different with this poem. And it's a lot of work, and no shade at all on that curriculum, because they are a religious curriculum and they tell you that. They're not trying to, claim that they're secular or something. But secular people really like the look and feel of it and would like to use it if possible. But it would be, even easier for them if they didn't have to do all of that work to change things around and try to secularize something that was meant to be from a religious perspective. So because I personally needed that as well for my homeschool, I said, why don't I just go ahead and make that?
The rest of us, thank you, because you're doing the hard work there in making these things happen for the rest of us, because I will not be writing any curriculum. But thank you to those of you who do. Now, you have completed the entire 5th grade level. Why did you start with 5th grade?
So I wish I could say I had some very scientific research-backed reason. And the real reason is totally for self-interest. I have a 5th grader son, and he needed an English curriculum. So that is 100% the reason why we started with 5th grade, so that he would have that for this year. And that's also why we're doing 6th grade next, because he'll need that as well.
Okay, so in talking about 6th grade next, what are your plans for expanding Hearth Story?
Yeah, I know when it first came out, I got a lot of questions of, are you going to go younger? Are you going to go younger? And we may eventually, if there's enough interest, but we are first coming out with 6th grade next, just so people who are using 5th grade can move up into it and not have, nowhere to go. And we do have our first novel study out right now. It's the novel Double Dutch by Sharon Draper. and I love it. It's so much fun. I can't wait to share it with everyone. It's not one that everyone has read, so that's kind of exciting. And we have another novel study coming out pretty soon in the next few weeks or so here as we get it finalized. And we're going to be releasing each of the components of sixth grade as they're ready. So we're not waiting until the whole entire bundle is ready. We're just going to bring out each one as it's ready because there are a few people who will use just one or two components, and we wanted that to be available for them.
Okay, so that answers another question, which is, can you use just the individual pieces? And you're saying easy to
Yeah.
do that.
Absolutely. So that's another difference, I guess, between this one and that popular religious curriculum where they go by day, which is also a great approach. Like, no problem with that. And they'll have their day and like what to do that day. Ours is separated by English language arts subject. So you'll print it all out, put it. I use a binder. I know a lot of people like spiral binding, and they'll do that instead. Um, that's like a whole, binder versus spiral battle that we could have, but mine's in a binder, and you'll have a section for spelling, a section for grammar, section for the novels, whatever it happens to be, and then pull out the pages that you need for that day. So you could absolutely use just one novel study or just the writing program or just brain food if you're trying to supplement something else.
That's good to know that you can easily kind of piecemeal that. Now, you'll be releasing them, you said, as they're ready. Is there a benefit to waiting until the full bundle is available, or will it not matter if you wait?
We've had a couple people ask about that because what I don't want people to do is to purchase, I don't know, 3 or 4 items from sixth grade and then have to pay again for the whole thing. That's not my intention at all. So we'll figure out a way to get each person who buys part of it to get them their coupon code so that they'll be able to get the rest without rebuying any parts that they already purchased. So there's really no reason to wait.
That's a good thing to know. Good thing to know. Okay, so we've talked about sixth grade is coming and it's already started being released. Is there anything else that you have kind of coming up on the plan, or is it we've got fifth grade is done, packaged, available, and sixth is next? Is that kind of all we're sticking with at this point?
That's what we have so far. If there's enough interest, the next thing I would do would be to go down to fourth. I'm not going to skip down to like first or anything like that because then once you finish that, you'd have nowhere to go. We want it to all connect. So if we do go younger in the future, it would be to fourth grade so that you can go fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. But that's definitely in the future for now.
What makes Hearth and Story different?
So for me, what I was missing, and I have my oldest son and my youngest son are actually 12 school years apart. They're super, super far apart. So I went through it all with the oldest and then had the younger guy coming up and kind of said to myself, well, what are my, language arts regrets from the older one? And the part for me that was the hardest was trying to, sorry, I don't hope you can't hear my dog snoring. She's like snoring super loud.
He is not entertained with our interview.
Yeah, she just finds this very boring. Um, so one of my regrets was that I kept having to piece together that we had a separate spelling, logic, Latin and Greek word roots, every single novel, poetry. It was all separate. And it didn't go together. And it was just sort of like, what can we weave together in some way? And so what I really wanted to do was have that all in one that you don't have to go around searching for all different things and paying for all different things. So you have it all together in one place that's in an affordable, cohesive unit. And that's kind of the big difference, I guess, between Hearth and Story and some of the other options where you do need to kind of slice and dice and bring everything together.
And that, I think, starts answering my next question, which is what need does this meet for secular homeschoolers?
That, that cohesiveness, and then also the sort of, with our goal here was to have something that is joyful and cozy and fun and something that you look forward to opening up that day and seeing what's next. That's got some illustrations and some color, and is visually appealing. Sometimes, we didn't really have that as much on the secular side.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. I have yet to find anything that's pretty as like enjoyable use for language arts. I think is a really big deal, especially when you're incorporating things like you said, logic and writing. Those aren't what you would think of as a cozy subject, but if you can incorporate that as well with the novel studies that you can do together and reading and that kind of and that's exactly what I picture when I think of just even the name Hearth and Story. I think of like an Afghan and a fire. Like that just is what it calls in my mind. Absolutely. Okay, so what type of learner is Hearth and Story best for?
So the kids that I've always loved working with and always gravitated toward, even back in the day, is the ones who just will not stop asking questions. They have a million questions about everything. They're the, junior moral philosophers. They're interested in the whole world around them and why is this way? Why is that way? And especially in fifth grade is really when you start getting into that. And our fifth grade novels, they all follow a theme, which is the stories we are told. And all 4 novels have protagonists who are young people around that age who are asking questions, challenging authority, challenging what's going on in their society, want to see what a better world could be or could look like. And that's who this is for. This is for the kids who are really starting to think critically.
I love that because I have a 6th grader and I can assure you that is exactly what's happening in my house is the questioning and but what is my role? What are my limits? What can I do? What can I change? Why are things the way they are? So I'm really glad to hear that you're kind of focusing on that natural curiosity that does come up, especially I think with homeschoolers. Okay, so from a parental standpoint, what is it like as far as prep and use and scheduling? What does that require of me?
Yeah, so there's not a ton of prep. When you first get it, you have to print out. It's a lot of pages because it's every part of language arts all together. So it is 300 and something pages. You're gonna have to get that, all printed out, put in a binder with some dividers. It's not, not too hard to set up, but it's just a lot because there's a lot of it. You do need to get the 4 novels, so those are not included. All the poetry and the short stories are all included, so that's all in there. But you do need the 4 books, of course. And there are once in a while you'll have a recipe or a little simple kind of art project going on. It's not every week. It's just sort of once every so often involved in the novel studies, especially just to have some. The recipe from Over the Moon is so good. I ate so many apple tarts. It was.
Oh no, apple tart.
Yeah, they're so good. My son had so much fun cooking that, and I made a video out about that eventually. But yeah, there's a couple little recipes and things, but not too much. So mostly you just it's really opening and going. And what I do is every Sunday I'll get out. There's a planning page to help you plan your week. Because we're not telling you like week 1, you must do XYZ because everybody's weeks are different. And it took me so many years of homeschooling to finally figure out that the 5-day school week is basically a myth. It just doesn't happen. There's always a holiday, a snow day, a power outage. I know, the internet's gone or whatever it happens to be, dentist appointment, getting braces on, braces off. There's so many things. So I had to finally just sort of come to accept that we're probably going to have 4-day weeks, if that, some of the time. So every Sunday I'll get out the planning page and my goal is if it were a 5-day week, I want to do 5 spelling, 5 novel chapters, 3 grammar, 1 of the writing like week-long lessons, a poetry, and something from brain food in a typical week. And if it's not a typical week, some of that's getting cut and it's going to the next week. And we've made it flexible enough where you're not getting to the end of May and realizing, oh my goodness, we still have 50 lessons left. We're not going to make it. So everyone should be able to finish it in about 1 school year without too much trouble.
I think that's wonderful because there is nothing worse than knowing that you're carrying things over and just that burden of feeling behind can be almost debilitating. Honestly, it can feel so hard to catch up because again, next week's got another dentist appointment, power out. I think it's brilliant that you've automatically planned for just the way that life is life. You've planned for life, which is great. What is it that you want potential users to know about Hearth and Story?
I think what I've been surprised so far, I've been starting to just hear some reviews from people who started using it in late December or in January. And I'm so happy with how confident it's making people's kids, especially in writing. We had one mom who was saying I never thought my daughter would be able to write a 5-paragraph essay at this age, and she's doing it. And, there's just these step-by-step instructions. She doesn't feel overwhelmed. She feels confident that she can do it. And I'm loving seeing that come through. And, a lot of the kids are very much into the novels. Those have been a success. Have a lot of kids who are having trouble putting them down and are wanting to go ahead and just see what happens next. So we've been
What a terrible problem to have.
I know. I love that. So we're having a lot of success so far just with the early users, and it's been great for my son, who was sort of like the guinea pig boy of the the first person to use it. He's having a great year as well. So we've been really happy.
I can tell you, as somebody who's got zero qualifications to do any of this, writing is one of what I would say is top 3 intimidating things to teach when you don't have any sort of background in that. So for me, it's right up there with math, because grammar is just so far beyond me. I've learned so much in teaching my children that I know I never learned back in my own school days. So it is nice to know that you've created a product that makes it fun and enjoyable for everyone on both ends. Because as parents, if we can see that our kids are making progress, if we can see that they don't want to put a book down, that is so encouraging to us as the homeschoolers who maybe, don't have any educational experience under our belts. So thank you for that. Why should new and experienced homeschoolers give Hearth Story a try?
So I think for new people, it's going to give you that confidence that, you're just starting out. It is open and go. You're not having to weave together 15 different items to try to make a full English curriculum. It's got everything that you need, and you can feel confident and get some wins under your belt as you're just getting started. And for experienced homeschoolers, I think, like me, they probably are, getting sick of trying to weave together all of these different items and are really looking for something that covers it all and that they know is going to be academically rigorous and secular and they can trust. And actually for both groups, the affordability, I guess, could also be a point worth mentioning. We really do try to keep it as inexpensive as possible, knowing that you do have to print it out. And you do still have to get the novel. So we tried to keep the price point as low as we possibly can to make it, accessible to as many people as possible.
The novels, all easily found, Amazon, bookstores. I mean, they're all widely found.
Yeah, we have, so I think the 5th grade level is Over the Moon, which is one that a lot of people hadn't heard of, but it should be way more famous than it is. It's amazing. Gregor the Overlander from that up-and-coming writer, Suzanne Collins. We'll give her a chance. Maybe she'll make it big someday.
Maybe.
That's her better series. I can't believe it's not a movie. She already has, this amazing movie series, but for whatever reason, they have not made a movie of Gregor, but maybe they will someday. The Giver, which is a classic that a lot of us know. And then the other one is The Last Mapmaker from Christina Soontornvat, who is amazing. She's wonderful.
Okay, so what was your philosophy in choosing the novels and the short stories and the poems? Are you impacted at all in today's climate of a little bit more restrictive access?
Oh, yes. So we just did a video on that. We're talking about book bans and book rules. And one of the final lessons, I think it is the final lesson in the Brain Food, is actually how to make your family's own book rules and book policies for what you think is good or not good and what you like and don't like reading. And, so you don't have to take in anyone else's rules and instead can kind of do your own. But the other thing we kept in mind when choosing these is this is a group of kids, and just watching what's going on in the last few years, these people had been through some things. They've all been through quarantine. They've been through a pandemic. They've been through closures and upheavals, and a lot of them became homeschoolers, by surprise in March of 2020 when they didn't know they were even going to do that. So they've been through a lot. And what I'm starting to kind of think about is this idea of trauma-informed language arts, where we don't have to choose every single book to be this, tearjerker that's just going to destroy you and make you feel horrible. And because we're studying it so closely with such close reading, we're going to be dwelling on it for, 3 months at a time. So the books, not that the books we chose are necessarily light. The Giver is not light at all. But they're not, it's not just one big tearjerker after the other. It's not super, super heavy. So we're trying to, let's study language arts in a way that makes sure we're learning what we need to be learning and, critically thinking, introducing new ideas, having these big conversations, but we don't need to be just constantly opening every wound that we have.
I think that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, because it can be really hard to read heavy on heavy on heavy, or even, classic on classic on classic. It can be good. And it seems like you have integrated something a little older with The Giver, but like newer selections from more modern authors. So I think that's great. Is there anything else that you'd like anybody to know, either about yourself, your homeschool journey, or Hearth Story?
It started off as just, kind of this necessity is the mother of invention thing with my own son and what we needed and what we didn't have for my older son. As everything I've written has kind of turned out that way. And it's so exciting to see that other people are resonating, it's resonating with them, and it's working with them and making life in homeschool a little bit easier for language arts, at least, for the people who are using it. It's great.
That is wonderful. Something that I might be worth mentioning, I don't think we've actually said, this is a digital download, right?
Yes.
So it's access.
Yes. So if you can actually download a free sample. It's a pretty large free sample. I think it's like 3 weeks worth of lessons, something like that, on our website. And then to kind of take a look and see how it looks for you, if it might fit, be a fit for your family. Because not everything's good for everybody. Everybody's different. And then if you purchase any of it, whether it's one piece or the whole thing, it just comes as a digital download that you'll have, and you will have to print.
And we can, one novel study, we want to learn more about The Giver. And so we could just do that piece, or as many or as we'd like.
Yeah. So that was the reason that I made them separately instead of like a day 1, day 2, day 3 kind of setup, was so that people can just get one if they need to. And especially for the novel studies, because if you're using another curriculum and you really love it, but they've chosen a book that you've already read last year or something like that, it happens. You could just swap that out and put one of these in, and they're very affordable, and it's just easy peasy. Just put it right in there to swap out. And I know a lot of people are buying only the writing. I've seen that one. That's probably our most popular to buy on its own.
Yeah, a lot of people struggle with that piece, especially when you are trying, like you said, to stitch it all together. So I think, it's brilliant. I really think you're onto something here. This is March, and you're having a sale in March. So it's a great time to get your hands on it. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a look.
That goes until March 31st of 2024. So if you're watching this after that, sorry, but we'll have another one at some point.
Yeah, I'll be sure to link everything, all of your contacts, the follows, everything down below. And you said there is a sample, and that's available. Is it hearthandstory.com?
Yes, hearthandstory.com. And if you scroll down, I really should move this higher up on the website, but I have not done that yet. It's on my to-do list. But if you scroll to the bottom, you enter your email, and it just click a button and it comes up.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. I think that's it.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
So much for coming and chatting with us. I know that there's an absolute huge void in the market for this, and I'm so excited that you've gone and have started filling it. So I think it's amazing.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. I truly hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Be sure to check out Hearth Story from Lindsey. I have everything linked down below. Go give her a follow, give her some love. Let her know that you appreciate what she is doing for the secular homeschool community. Don't forget to take advantage of her sale happening now in the month of March 2024.